the way that this went down then was we got memos that went public. These happened at 7 a.m. Pacific time. Oof. And so 7 a.m. in California, obviously where Irvine is. It's where most of Blizzard's development staff will be, though there are other people in places like Blizzard Albany, Blizzard Austin, and so on.
Blizzard Albany are largely unaffected, yeah. I think they were...
I haven't heard a massive amount.
Yeah, I think they were completely or more or less scot-free.
They're Diablo content? I think they're Diablo. I was about to say I think they're a Diablo farm. That's a bit mean.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, yeah, so that happens. Those things roll out. People, broadly speaking, then, are waiting. They're waiting for an email. They're waiting for a HR call. For some people, this happened sooner, which is ideal. For other people, people that I know the example, like Varya's role, it's like she only found out today. Yeah. So, yeah, that's like, that's not flipping nice. I know that there are some other units where people won't actually know for like a few days. So that's really rough.
Yeah, this is, I think... Because obviously this whole process is dehumanizing.
Yes.
When you're cutting off 1,900 people, you cannot, be like, well, we'll set all of 1,900 down individually over the course of this month.
Yeah, and there's a scale problem here, for sure.
There's literally a problem. You cannot do that. Even if it's like, well, we have to get a spreadsheet of all 1,900 people and then email them all. Sending 1,900 emails.
Microsoft Teams has just had an outage.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's... Oh, jeez. It's like there's literally logistic problems, but in terms of being extremely dehumanizing, like, could you imagine, do I have a job? And you cannot get an answer.
Yeah.
How horrendous an experience must that not be?
And of course, for people in, in America, that then does come with quite a lot of other baggage.
Yeah.
Like health coverage and stuff like that. So, we don't exactly know what the severance packages are going to be. It
won't be as good as Rats, that's for sure.
Yeah. So Jason Schreier was saying, and I trust him in especially a labor related issue because he reports on it a lot and he's passionate about it. But apparently then stuff with Riot was sort of best in class insofar as severances go. Basically that happens. People start to find out, and I guess we're almost doing this a bit chronologically because I suppose we'll take you through the story or the sort of journey that we had even understanding this. Initially, what did it look like? It looked like, okay, we are going to, there's the survival game. I don't know how public it is in the team size. But apparently it's 250 people.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, so we're not entirely sure with that. So that's quite rough.
That's dire. In every conceivable way, that's dire. Especially considering they started hiring up for it last year.
Yeah.
So you must see...
They hired up. It was 2022. And at the same time, they got the Far Cry 3 director? Major in Far Cry 3, and then he was executive producer for Far Cry's up to 6. They got him onto the survival game, along with staffing up. Yeah, and that's dead now.
All of that work and effort and expenditure and investment just shot in the head.
We can get into that specific sort of situation with that game in a little bit. So that happens. We know survival game is gone. We still think that it's mostly sort of two things going on. Kind of like back of house operations, removing redundancies because of mergers happened. So that we assume.
And not even just that, because there's people suggesting that, I thought, was it Schreier in the Bloomberg article said a lot of CS roles are going to be outsourced?
Yep, so that's the thing.
Outside of Microsoft entirely?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we look at that happening, impacting customer service, QA, that sort of thing. But broadly speaking, people are saying this is just because of M&A activities. This is a very normal thing. It's not going to impact development. Then a few curious things happen, and I don't know where Who is it? There's a number of people on the Overwatch 2 team, like artists, animators, I think actually some gameplay design as well.
I haven't seen a gameplay designer. I think I saw, was it the lead environment artist or someone along that lines said like half their team was gone or something, which is kind of crazy. That's clearly, this is downscaling. At the same time, we're losing all these like redundancies. We're also downscaling that project specifically. And then the narrative designer.
That was the one, yes.
Narrative designers.
So
maybe the work's all done, it'll be shipped, but I wouldn't be too excited about Overwatch 2 PvE if I were you.
Yeah, whenever people were then going through LinkedIn's, it began to be apparent that, yes, PvE stuff was sort of going. But then you're going to have cross-discipline or cross, I suppose, gameplay type teams, like making maps, art assets, that sort of thing. Evidently, along with whatever's happened on PvE that we suspect, that now means less animators, less artists, less of all of that. So seemingly a downsize. I would imagine a downsizing of the Overwatch team to focus on PvP. I think the most recent thing we heard was I think they were 225 million in revenue, but I don't know exactly when. We've got to properly break that down. It'll be on our news channel next week. So
you'll find some stuff there.
That's essentially what we had seen, but also like Diablo 4, some people gone.
Yeah, people in chat saying D4 art team.
Yeah,
taking casualties. Oh, unfortunate.
Yeah. So we got that. Customer service departments being gutted. Yeah, they're 80% of Blizzard off. Austin was laid off. Let that sink in. I don't know the specific number. I have heard that though. So yeah. Even Micah Whipple example. I mean, I think his job title has a director in it now. He started off in like customer service, I think.
Yeah, tech support.
Yeah.
Oh,
Jen O'Neill started in QA.
Yeah, Chris Messin started as an artist and became lead narrative designer.
Varia
for Warcraft. Do you know why?
I think she was customer service as well. I think I think Ash, who I worked with, was also customer service. I don't know about Marie, but I'm just thinking about like past community managers that I've worked with, and like a lot of them did come up through that. And I think like that's also an important thing. Like CM wise, I think that kind of roots the CMs in being quite player oriented. And my experience of the CMs was always that they were just like they got it,
It's rough because I think one of the things is that was always like ages ago. I remember way back when people would try to get in the door as a GM and then see where they could go from there.
Yeah.
But now you get in the door as a GM and then gets unceremoniously removed. And sometimes you're not even told about it. They're like, oh, what'll do? Customer service? Who needs customer service? Who needs it? It's not like our game is horribly flooded with bots and
not
all forms of issues. Just see that rug. See that very, very misshapen rug that's about halfway to the ceiling. Just throw some more stuff under there.
I think there's also a lot of I was seeing like a lot of backseat stuff where it's like we replace that with some other CMs, replace that with some other customer support. But the thing is, there's a lot in these roles is a lot of the experience that actually makes the difference. It's not the title; it is the on-the-job experience, doing that actual job, doing that role in that company with that player base, with whatever sort of just like tech stack, workflow, blah, 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 that the company uses. Like those things are actually, those are not just like, the job title. There's all of that that niche expertise.
Yeah, it's
retention is so important.
Yeah, it's how do I describe this? It's the one thing that we kind of have been shown in the video game industry over the past couple of years in terms of what is actually important, right? What is important and what lets you make the great products that people will buy hand over foot?
The line.
The line
that goes up, I think.
No, actually, it's the people who make the games. If you keep them there long enough, they get really good at their jobs, and then they feel very comfortable and can work very well with each other and by themselves to make excellent video game experiences. Or you could get rid of them all and just see what happens.
Just see.
It's not like that's impacted any AAA. It's not like massive turnovers caused really severe harm to output in IPs that we know of at all. Hello, the entirety of AAA industry.
Yeah, so that's a problem. And this is something that, like, definitely feels bad to say. But they're going to have a really hard time finding a job now. The
Extremely.
jobs market is flooded. And it's not like it's flooded with people with loads of experience. Even in examples like the BioWare layoffs, they preferentially targeted their most experienced, most expensive staff. So, and this has happened at lots of different companies. It's like it's all blended together in my head because we've been reporting in this for like the best part of a year now. But yeah, the people who are gone are, in many cases, very experienced. So that is going to be a hell of a competitive jobs market. Like we went from a situation where the labor market was super tight. Now there are lots of little bubbles within the overall industry bursting. And that just means that labor market's flooded. And the other thing, like a hiring freeze is not front page news. No. Because hiring freezes had already been implemented at Blizzard, by the way. So a lot of the other companies have just got hiring freezes. Now, there are lots of companies that do have open positions that are, they're obviously signal boosting that, given that there has been another flood of candidates onto the market. But yeah, that's going to be really, really challenging. Especially for some people as well. Like, they need to get a job or else their visa's gone and they have to leave the country. That's rough.
That's the one thing I was not expecting to see quite as much of across Twitter, because obviously Twitter's good at showing the algorithm things. So I've just been flooded by different, not even just Blizzard developers, but staff across Blizzard and Microsoft as a whole.
I kind of want a lot of those big tech companies. Like, if you, it's one of the opening jokes in Silicon Valley of just the ratio of, it's a little flock of programmers. You've got this, this white guy and this Indian guy, whatever it was. Silicon Valley's it's not always perfect, but I do think Silicon Valley's a pretty funny show. But one of the interesting things that I'd learned, I think India's just one example, but a lot of people, is it a H2? I forget the name of the visa.
H1, the H2, yeah.
Yeah, it's they get in on that visa where it certainly gives the companies massive power over them.
Obscene amounts. Just, you want to live here where your life now is? Well, don't do anything wrong. Or don't accidentally be one of the dice we rolled to get rid of whenever it's the end of the year or the end of the quarter.
That's the bit to talk about as well.
Sure is. Where was it at here? We have it somewhere. There was, yes, I like this. The layoffs. See, this is how the layoffs were kind of done. This is obviously from one person, so take with a grain of salt, but I thought it was interesting. My last message for my Slack was deactivated. Look, I'm just happy we were able to provide some value to the shareholders. A lot of reactions to that too, which is fun. But this is something they posted a little later, earlier today, I believe. And so I'm getting past the mourning phase and entering my pissed off stage. Overwatch layoffs didn't care about tenure, skill, performance, how expensive, how new, if you just moved out, if you just had a baby the same day as a layoff. Someone looked at a spreadsheet, decided which parts of the projects you wanted and cut the rest. No attempts to keep people, no communication, just thanks for nothing, bye. Leads and managers did not know. How are people supposed to be motivated and keep morale up whenever it is just, we have job death squads roaming the offices every year, every 6 to 12 months. We just have these just execution squads picking people out at random.
It's that
what's the point? Even if you think about it from the perspective of, why do you want to do a good job? Because you want to be treated like a human and say, oh well, you're doing a good job, here's your promotion. But what's the point of that if just someone walking around with a red letter, goodbye? or pink slip. Sorry, just goodbye.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if you feel surgery is the only option, like surely the scalpel is preferable to the cleaver,
to the shotgun, yeah,
or the sawn off, or the blunderbuss.
yeah.
Because like that's the bit that's so insane to me. It's like, just this department X% gone.
Yeah, like I completely understand. Even in the world of, because I saw there was a super chat there earlier from Bumblebee Tune saying, "What's the point of progress if we can't accept people should make the same money, needing to work less?" 3 trillion market cap and layoffs is a sad joke, which is another thing. Microsoft having briefly crossing a $3 trillion market cap and then going, we'll lay off 1,900 people. So even if you go, okay, well, these layoffs are necessary for whatever economic purposes, this is not going to work. Be it we need to make more money, or be it we're going to collapse if we don't, which is obviously not the case. But okay, we need to have a good reason for this in some world. You still don't just walk around just firing pink slips at the people randomly. Like, you're supposed to treat people like humans in some capacity. And this may be a little bit optimistic or a little bit idealistic, because there's 1,900 people and it's difficult to do that. But if this is how you get away with treating people, then there's clearly something horribly wrong with the process. If it's like, oh yeah, sorry, you just had a baby, well, goodbye. You're like, well, no warning, no safety net whatsoever. And obviously you go, well, just don't have a baby then. And you go, well, then why the hell would anyone want to work for you if you're too afraid to make any commitment or move or buy a house, get a mortgage, or do literally anything that's like actually a life outside of work, if they're just going to turn around and be like, nah, you're a number and we just scratched you out.
Yeah.
And that's what it feels like.
Because I know there's a lot of people who are taking the line of like, business exists for money, whatever, people cog. The thing though is, it's about the alignment of incentives, and what a lot of people, it's like, why are the like negative externalities in the current system becoming more and more and more of a problem? The kind of answer is because, like, number one, in many cases they're unpriced, and also they're long-term negatives. So if we keep on taking short and medium-term positives that have long-term negatives, as time goes on, those negatives are going to pile up. And I know that's a ridiculously simplified way to put it, but this is a gaming live stream, so I'm.
Yeah, we'll try to talk about video games in some capacity, but the industry's making it really, really hard.
So the point there is like, yeah, this will probably drive up your earnings per share or whatever. Like, I get that. Or
the holy grail number.
I mean, look, if you have an Overwatch team of X, but it only takes, 2/3 of X to keep PvP going, and PvP is earning you X amount of dollars in, Y amount of time. Like, hey, do you want to just increase profitability, by your margin by like 40 or 50%? Cool, hatch it. Kill them all. And now your numbers went up. The thing is, though, what have you lost? Well, all of that, all of that talent, essentially. And what does that then mean? Well, does that set you up for the 5-year, for the 10-year, to be strong as an organization? I would say no. That sets you up to be disrupted in the future. And I mean, ultimately, that's why having a fairly vibrant startup, ecosystem like that is a very important thing, because these large companies do need to be disrupted. Like, a part of the sort of ecosystem is that whenever layoffs happen, some of the people who are laid off will end up taking something into their own hands, doing a thing, starting a company, and, maybe in 10 years' time, that's the company taking a big bite out of the old incumbent. But the thing is that, that will happen, and it's good that happens, but a lot of people will be, I would say, needlessly hurt by the inefficient way in which this is done. It's the sort of thing, like, so much is in your execution of your plan, and it seems that this was a plan that was executed very badly. So to execute a plan badly, that is not pursuing efficiency. So, like, that's also the thing. short-term line god business, maybe not ideal for, just building a company to last. And of course, when you look at Blizzard, that's a company that was, riding off past successes for a very long time. And that's actually one of the problems in a lot of the old incumbent companies. They've been riding off the old shit that got them here for years and years and years. They've not innovated. You're like, you're wondering why, like, quite broadly speaking, people are not happy. Like gamers, like audiences are not particularly happy with the state of like a lot of the big companies. And, therefore, well, other way around. They're not happy with the state of a lot of the big games. Therefore, they're not happy with the state of a bunch of the big companies.
Yeah.
Like, why do you get indie hits?
Yeah, well, yeah, because it doesn't matter.
It's like, why is there not a decently large company? It's like, okay, we'll do a Valheim. Boom, done. Valheim.
Yeah.
It's ultimately because you're making a machine to pump Call of Duty money. You're not actually making, a...
Yeah, there was someone in chat there.
You're not a game developer. You're a Call of Duty developer now.
Yeah.
A Call of Duty franchise sort of, it would be like saying, no, McDonald's is McDonald's. It's not going to do anything else.
Yeah, there's like a hyper specialization of what's effectively you got lucky or you were strong enough or good enough to build one cash cow, and now the entire thing is throwing souls into the grinder to keep the cash cow alive. Anyway, as opposed to actually trying to make natural, good new things.
Do you ever think about why Warhammer 40k is getting quite popular these days?
I literally made that. I framed it the way just so you'd pick up on that. Yes, I kind of figured. It is. Once again, I think even the silliest of science fiction, you look at it and go, oh yeah, that's the Torment Nexus. Why are we building Torment Nexuses? Oh dear.